Hi everyone. We will be starting in a few minutes. Just waiting for more people to join. Good evening. Thank you all for accepting our webinar request. My name is Zukile Mkalali, the CEO of Pragmatic Master. What we'll be showing today is or launching our software platform with drone services that aims to simplify construction, assist with infrastructure inspections, and also to enhance mining management. I will stop my video sharing so that we can focus primarily on the slides and the platform. So the background company for this development is Pragmatic Master, and we are essentially a turnkey data solutions company where we deal with primarily data collection, data processing, and data analytics. Um, in the current years, our data collection methods have been using GPS and drone systems, and our analytics are through web platforms and AI. So we have developed a few tools and a few platforms on each of these elements, both the data collection. We would go out to a construction site, collect the data using GPS and drones, and then when we essentially we essentially process this data to our platform, and then we present the data to the client. For the past 3 years, this has been done in a back-end form, but we have decided that we are releasing our platform to a wider audience and wider companies for wider usage. So the main issue we initially that brought up this platform was around the inefficiencies around construction sites where minute mistakes could cause disastrous cost, which leads your project to be overrun or for major infrastructure to be changed in order to accommodate the new era that was created on site. So that's why it was there initially to say, how do you connect the engineers? How do you connect the contractors? How do you connect the the the, the foremen to actually ex, to execute the job in an efficient way and without any issues. That's why we have developed Pragmatic Insight that on the first basis it was around just solving the issue around construction monitoring. And years for the past 4 years, we have steadily grown our user base, our revenue, and our staff complement in order to service the our clients that are growing. So the company initially was started in 2014, and in 2016 we pivoted to drone solutions and artificial intelligence. From there on, we've been steadily growing, very humbly, year on year, where we're growing both our user base and our revenue. So with any documentation, we see the platform as a huge documentation tool for one, and two, as an operational tool. Uh, the what you see on your screen is basically the comparison between the union buildings now and then. Uh, what most contractors, most mine owners that are taking over a mine is that they're faced with the knowledge of how was this site before they came into how was the site before they came and took it over? You know, when a project moves from a construction project moves from development to maintenance, it is always vital to know exactly what are the steps that are taken. Sorry about that. Seems like I wasn't sharing my screen. I hope everyone can see my. Have, okay, Manuel says he hasn't, can't see the screen. Are you able? I've just shared the screen. Is it visible now on your end? So as we have been developing this, sorry about that, as we were developing this software, it was around this serious documentation error, especially in construction sites, both for infrastructure maintenance and inspection, and for a handover process. Uh, it 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 still now is the biggest issue around municipalities and governments across the African continent, how to maintain the existing infrastructure, because infrastructure decays, but documentation uh, the past documentation does not exist, and they don't have that historical view of their site or their reservoir or their power stations. So we aim to first and foremost solve that documentation issue, but also to enhance the operation once the infrastructure or the construction site or the mining is being operated. So I think that's the short introduction, and I will just dive in straight into what the platform offers and what you can do from respective industries. So what we have here is a simple view of a project that was around pollution demarcation and clearance. Uh, with any project, actually, whether it's a construction or a mining project, it is valuable to actually be able to see what was there before and what was there after. Almost a verification process between a contractor and a manager or the engineers to say is what was supposed to be done. This, for example, would be an example of that, where it was a pollution clearance project, and then weeks down the line or months down the line, we're able then to verify if that clearance actually did happen. It allows everyone to have that holistic view of the project before and after. We We have also taken note that in most construction projects, paper-based systems are still being used widely, where you would find how to know exactly which residence is being developed, especially in situ construction projects where we're actually developing in an already existing township or area, where you'd have to first track that stand on a design plan, find its actual location by walking, driving, or asking, and then actually discover what is that status of that specific stand or that specific residence. So what we try to do with our overlay functionality is to say you can take existing plans that are already with these plans already existing. How do we integrate them on a geofenced map image where you know exactly what stand you're looking at, you know exactly where the services lie, you know exactly at what stage that development is. So with this example, it's just a general plan of this area, and you're able then to see where the services lie, what the street name is on the general plan, and what the status of that house or of that structure is. So it's a simple overlay that sits directly on top of this of the map that was created. We also found that just because we have maps, we have seen that GIS systems include a lot of maps, but we believe that as much data that we can provide to the client is actually beneficial. So we gather as much data as possible using drones, whether it be just still images. The second part will be just to stitch these images together to present an interactable map, and to have also still images that can be exported to a report or to another system. This platform is interactable with already existing systems like AutoCAD, where the images are georeferenced and are easily integrated with any designs, with any ongoing designs or any ongoing plans. We've also included a video functionality for moments where we have seen that some, depending on which area you are in the development of or the mining project, different assets apply to you, where marketing guys would need some sort of an aerial video or aerial image to remarket to their client base, and B, it's actually easier to present certain elements of a development using video than it is for using still images or paper-based reports. So the video functionality is basically just to uh, allow for different people in the value chain of the project to have a say, and B, to have valuable insight or valuable content from the development. This is, of course, this as soon as uh, development that is completed, a new residential area is completed, it will be beneficial to actually have a video timeline of what is happening from the inception to the end, and it is more beneficial to a client to see on a easy to view way of what the development looks like. So about that, how the development looks like. So we've inserted this um, video functionality where we would either capture the video for the project, or using your own drones, you can capture these videos uploaded, and it's easily streamable from any web browser. What we found as well is that just getting a normal 2D or flat Google-like map or image is not beneficial to everyone. So this functionality we have here is a more of an immersive view of the construction project, or what you're trying to look at. This is a 360 view of uh, a roof, for example, where we are able to interact with it and do more than just see the site flat, but we're able to go into a more 360 3D immersive view where you're able to pick up certain things that are not clear from a 2D standpoint. What this allows, for example, for insurance and roof inspectors, that you can come in here and actually see what is happening. You're able to then pick up certain defects on the roof, or for any inspection, then you're able to then pick up whether you need a inspector or not. What we An example, a previous case study we had is that on this roof, for example, this antenna was actually broken, so facing downward, where it needed a team of two people with a ladder to come up and see actually what is happening on top, and then from there onwards, then they were sending the query to their technical team to actually come with the necessary tools. But with a simple drone, 15 minutes capture, we're able to see that in less than 10 minutes, and then you can advise for external need, whether it be scaffolding, whether it be uh, better, more technical capabilities. We also have, because we understand that not everyone will be on the platform, and everyone will necessarily want to log into a platform. We have created a shareable function, as you would do on a Facebook share, Twitter share, to actually share this with an external party of your choosing, in a split second, or in a emergency meeting. You were able to then share this with your counterpart, so that they are able to view this and verify on their own. And as I said, the inception of Pragmatic Insight was just around the construction monitoring, where the management of each construction is actually a vital element, where certain engineering bodies actually put aside capital, or put aside percentage of the project amount to just construction monitoring. And previously, or currently, what is being done is that this is being done through a manual basis, where people have, whether they have a tablet platform, software platform, they go out to each and every stand, and then they verify what is happening on that specific stand. So they will go to a stand X and say, well, this is at wall plate level. They'll go to stand Y and say, this is at roof level, and stand B to say we have integrated the solar panels for this roof. But what we've seen is that we are able to then integrate the same workflows that exist in construction monitoring, which is project planning in a sort, and B, it's also issue identification, or communication tools, such as leaving a note to highlight that actually before sign off we need to fix the issue of soil erosion at on this road, or to actually communicate better on the timelines so what we've done here is that we want to be able to communicate on a specific element on the site. We don't just want to communicate against the entire construction wide, or construction project wide. What we're trying to do is say, if you can communicate on a single element on the project, it would be beneficial as well. Where we literally we're saying the roof completion for this roof is so paramount that has a due date of certain days. So each asset on the construction, whether it be trenching, whether it be soil erosion clearance, whether it be site clearance, whether it be earthworks movements, we we want it to be so easy to have a pinpoint timeline or task management for each and every element at each and every stage of the development. And our third, I think our third offering is around the uh, infrastructure inspection. I think you know that it actually takes longer for any technical team to actually come out and fix an issue, whether it's around electricity, whether it's around telecommunications, it's around whether it's around water supply. If they don't know all the all the information, which is this is very different from if you are dealing with a one-to-one consumer and a customer service where they will ask you all those questions and you provide more feedback and more information. But with infrastructure projects such as reservoirs, towers, substation, that doesn't exist because the asset is laying dormant in a remote area. So it's beneficial to use drone systems, drone platforms to actually capture as much data as possible, feeding that data back to a technical team where they can advise what are the next steps in order to to resolve that issue. So with this clear image, you're able then to pick up things that are not clear on the site, whether it be a missing cable, whether it be a light that's not correctly inserted, whether it be a broadband connector that's not reflecting the correct rays because it's cracked. So this is the it aims to resolve these unknown questions before anyone goes out to site. So in infrastructure inspection, whether it's a reservoir, looking at a reservoir where some parts of the reservoir are not either A completed or have been destroyed by for whatever reason, we are able to then pick those issues up and know exactly how to cost it correctly and how long those resolution will be for that issue. So this on our end was just an introduction review. We didn't want it to be that long. That's why we a bit ran through it. But I would like if anyone has any questions around the platform to ask it in the chat or both on the YouTube side or on the Zoom side. We have opened up a chat room where we are able to take any questions from anyone that wants to know any element, any more information about a certain aspect of the platform. Okay, while we wait for the questions, I will give a rundown on specifically this project. Was the pollution clearance in a town where it was actually a 6-month project with time frames, month-to-month time frames for each sectional clearance, specifically around the stormwater site clearance where there was wide pollution and there was no development could happen because well that whole stormwater is actually blocked and it's not operational because of the pollution site. So the main aim of this project was to task up a team to go out and firstly identify where the pollution hotspots were. We came in, we were able to map that for them initially, and then they could identify exactly we can identify exactly where the hotspots of the pollution were, and then second time around they used their own drone to fly the same path, and then they were able to use the previous data on the location of the hotspots and identify if the work has been done or not. This assisted them to be able to verify payments for specific companies that are part of the clearance project. So this made it easier for them and quicker for them to pay out claims and quicker for subcontractors to get paid, because there were, if you're looking at a site like this, if it's 150 hectares, walking every single area, every corner to find out if a job is done, it takes longer, and the documentation of that, if it's done or not, is laid only to a specific person. So only one person is able to then say, okay, I saw what it's done. But in more cases than not, sometimes inspection is left to the last minute, and the inspection actually does not get done. We have one question that says, can the platform be applied to other industries besides the built environment? We have enabled a few cases, two extra cases that can be applied outside of construction, engineering, and mining. Looking at, for example, roof inspections and property appraisals. With the previous view that I showed, we are able to see the state of the property and then evaluate it better. That's from the banking area, banking side, and B, from the roof inspection side. If before you even verify the entire claim of fixing the roof or stripping off the roof, it is beneficial for insurance companies to have this better view of what is actually on the roof. Is this not deliberate? Is this claim easy to verify, and is it quicker to verify? And with any large claims like redoing the roof, it is beneficial to, it's actually quicker to enable drone activities in order for the insurance company to see this information, use their analytics to actually uh, 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 process the claim quicker for the recipient. And in other areas we have seen this work is around stock taking, warehousing solutions, where if you, for example, if you're looking at um, a big retailer like Builders Warehouse or Macro, where their inventory is either in a large warehouse, or it's actually in a parking lot type warehouse where everything is outside. The audit of such inventory is long and strenuous. As you'd know, you need a team to be on site, about a team of 5 or 10 in some instances, to do the mecha checker, where one person views and notes and the next person checks. And this iteratively checking process happens every day, just for them to get that right. So the auditing process first becomes very expensive because of how long it takes to verify everything, and the fact that you actually need physical people on site to actually do the job. An example would be if an auditing firm goes out, needs to go verify a site in Northwest, it would need that team to be paid for transport. How they'd have to know how long they'll be there for in order to actually do this, to do the verification of that audit. But with drones, we are able to then similarly taking, whether it's a small drone for inside warehouses, or it's a larger drone for anything that's out in the open, whereby we can, because we're using as much data as possible. As I said before, we incorporate video, we incorporate 360s, we incorporate images, we incorporate an actual map. To the combination of this allows any verifier or auditor to actually see more information from the comfort of their office instead of going out to site. And any lapses, then you'll use the functionality of note taking, task management, counting of some um, functionality, for example, of counting how much did I see, and then the next person will do a similar activity. So we can basically apply this to a multitude of industries because of the amount of features and the widespread data that we normally collect and we provide on the platform. Second question is, what is the pricing structure of the platform, and what do you get with each subscription? So our pricing structure is pretty dynamic. We have looked at wide array of the users that come to the platform. You'd find a small contractor with that is just building 10 to 5 houses. You would find a small surveying company that is doing about uh, small square meters of surveying, and they need that aerial image or that need that aerial data, or even for actually a small roof inspector. Our pricing ranges from a small to a more medium high growth company dealing with large developments, large mining operations, or a larger inspection project. So the pricing is available on our platform, which is it's a three-tier platform where for small the entry is that we provided with all the functionality here, but the limitation is how much you can do. Um, we use the we use the request, or how much you can actually process, how much data you can actually save, how many people can actually be on the site concurrently on the project, how many maps can you process a month. So the limitations from the starter, because we understand that the starter will not need as much functionality or as much data as the mid-tier provider. We have split that in two, but most of the functionalities exist on the starter that exists in the main one, where, for example, you would need the middle tier to process a large construction site like this, but you'll need the initial tier to process a site like this. So that varies on that end. And then the next question is, I think there's a yeah. So I think the comment by Craig is for project management. Currently, what exists in the industry is basically an Excel sheet, Word document, PDF documents. So what we're trying to do here is actually what we're trying to do here is actually provide just that plugin with already existing workflows. We already know that the workflows of a construction project, from evaluation to getting the land surveying to pegging to building the first foundation, and then signing off when the aprons and the painting has been done. So it's just a, a good API, whether it's API tool or a toolbox to actually plug into already existing workflow. So we are not changing anything, but we are enabling the project management division to actually manage the project better. And then question from one is, how much access does the end user have? Can they work around the data themselves, or do they have to receive, or do they receive report or images? So as I said before, the three tiers allows for that end, where if you're a starter or if you have your own drone, you can come in and you can upload the images. We are developing a large helping tutorial to how to take the images with your own drone, how to take the video for it to come out correctly, how to take, for example, to output the 360. So the user has as much information as possible. They decide how much images to upload, how many videos they want to upload, how many markings, note taking, task management tools they wanna utilize. So the user essentially has all the tools to themselves, and then if then you move down to the last tier, whereby you want to commission a more of a consultative role, whereby we will create then reports such as general plan, or reports around a GIS report for the status or the change detection from the previous year to the current year, or in a mining setting where we are working with professional land surveyors. We're able then to create uh, a report that is to the standard of that industry, right? So we have a lot of partners in that end, whereby we are able to then create standard rated reports if you need us to do it, and that all depends on the pricing tier of which one you pick. I hope I answered your question, Andy. Then another question is, what is the accuracy level when it comes to measurements calculations done? So in terms of measurements, we have a few measurement tools such as area and length calculation. The current accuracy is at 1 centimeter, but what we have done here is, so we are able to then do simple measurements on the site, such as counting length, that is to 1 centimeter, or counting the area to 1 centimeter accuracy. But to a more intricate development, such as earthworks movement at a construction site, or earthworks movement at a mining site, what we do for our middle tier services is that we actually export DTM 2 by 2 meter points of the entire area. Now this data can be plugged into, for example, Model Maker, Mine Surveyor, Autodesk, and any other existing tools. Now this allows for surveyors to move that accuracy from 1 centimeter down to about 1 millimeter. So we understood that just doing volume calculations for an expensive project, or expensive management such as a mine, you would need more accurate data than just to say, I did a calculation on a web platform. So we provide the DTM, which is the digital terrain model, which is the 2 by 2 meter points, and then also a DSM, which is the digital surface model, in point form as well. These files get integrated in any of the existing platforms currently, which are Model Maker, Autodesk, and any other point specific processes. Now, with the view of the surveyors, then they're able to then say, with the information from the images and the points, that how far we can do now a verification of what are the points like the previous month, what are the points like in terms of the ground truthing that was done. I'll expand a bit on this. When ground truthing is done on each site, it is based on GPS tools, based by GPS controls that are put in place by surveyors. We're able to then say, if these points are exported from this platform, how close are they to this ground truthing that was done by the surveyors, which is a manual process that's still being done, but we export these points in order to match up with the ground truthing that was done, and ensure that if we need to tweak these points, they're able to then conform to a 7 millimeter that is a standard for any topographical surveys that is currently done. So we have done projects where we've done this in partnership with professional land surveyors, where we're able to then export this point, and then with on their end to provide more concise data. These points get almost QA'd using professional surveyors, and then when the data gets presented, the data is as accurate as 7 millimeters. It seems like we don't have any questions, but if there are still any questions, you can ask them. But what I would like to say is that thank you all for joining. I would appreciate if everyone would sign up. We are running a 14-day trial on the platform, where we, with our team, will be able to come out to your site, evaluate it, fly it over for 2 weeks, present the data on the platform, and then so you can actually have an actual feel to how the platform works. This is well and good if it's seen from a distance, but if you actually have the benefit of actually using it on your own project, you are then able to understand what are the benefits of using the platform. So we are running a 14-day trial for this. Another question: can you measure dumping accurately on a site of 140 hectares, and how long will it take to do such a survey? So yeah, as I mentioned before, in terms of we know the risk of not ensuring or not measuring accurately, specifically for coal movement, iron ore movement, because these have a high cost implication, right? Any error could cause the prices to dip down or to skyrocket. So in terms of uh, dumping, we are able to do this measurements because as I said before, we do the combination of partnering with land surveyors. They QA most of the data to ensure that it is with standard with the Geometric Society of 7 millimeter for example, any topographical surveys, and for the standards that exist in mine surveys to ensure that we are in line with that. So we can do the QAing of that. And in terms of the 140 hectare site, we are able to fly the site. The process will be we evaluate where the site is, we do all the necessary regulatory preparations for 1 day, and then we can go out in the next day, fly the site, data gets processed in 1 day, and you're able to get a report in the next day. So in total, it will take about, for a new site, about 3 days to actually complete the project. And then also so you have additional resources such as the DTM, digital terrain model of the site in point form, whereby you can do a verification check on other tools such as Autodesk, Model Maker, and you also have the surface model if it's a dumping, for example, to ensure that what was the normal level of the site before the dumping occurred. And then we have then the also the uh, volumetric report signed by a professional land surveyor. So if there are any questions, I would be taking the next ones. If anyone has any additional questions. So as I was saying before, we yeah would love to you to get a feel of the project. So you can just sign up or leave us a comment on the contact page of any project you have that you think that drones can assist in. We would love to have your view or interesting views of how you want to use drones. In some instances, most companies want to take up drones, but they don't know if it's the right fit for them. Would love to assist with that and say, is it plausible to actually use your drone for example, in an in situ development, or to you'd rather use it in a greenfield development? So we would love to have the conversation. So if you would go to our chat room on our chat page, our contact page, sorry, and leave us a comment or sign up for that 14-day trial. We would love to get your feedback, get to know what problems we can solve using drone technology and AI. It's That's about it. Yeah, we ran over just a bit, but thank you for everyone that has joined. We really appreciate it. We hope to be in touch with you guys very soon. And we hope to see you on the platform. We hope to grow with you guys, and yeah, thanks a lot.